Welcome to Lesson 5. Today we'll cover number 1, an overview of the switching canvas and where it came from. Number 2, actual use of the switching canvas in the context of proposing better disclosure to your colleagues. And number 3, an overview of a simple proposal you can use to get your A-team started on the better disclosure journey. So why is this about switching? An organization is really just a legal fiction. But when we look at it more closely, it's a group of people working together to achieve desired outcomes. The people, their ideas, and their behaviors are what make an organization what it is. Today, most organizations support the status quo. Some organizations, however, are changing their behavior. Through these behavioral changes, organizations are enhancing their trustworthiness by designing, implementing, and optimizing better disclosure experiences. The switching formula builds upon research from the social sciences. The formula, as it looks now, was first introduced by Rewired Group. It was used to help companies better understand what influences product switching decisions and how to design those switches in their favor. We've built upon this formula to develop the switching canvas. It has 4 quadrants and 2 levels. The top level represents forces that encourage behavior changes away from something old towards something new. The bottom level represents forces that discourage behavior changes from something old towards something new. We use this canvas to help organizations deepen their understanding and design for change more effectively. So, let's bring the canvas to life by having a simple and dynamic discussion about these forces in the context of you proposing better disclosure to your colleagues. I'm now joined by Matt. As you can see, we've got the switching canvas in front of us. And in just a moment, we're going to simulate the type of discussion that you might have very soon in your organization. Let's start by talking about some of the existing and prevailing behaviors. All right. For the most part, contracts aren't designed at all. When they are, and if that's your argument, they're designed to protect organizations. They're also hidden away, they're incomprehensible, pretty much impossible for everyday folks to engage with. That's not what we want. We want something new. We want to prioritize the customer outcomes that matter most. We want to be empirically focused. We want to actually design stuff. We want to work together, and we want to produce outputs that add value to the overall customer experience. That's the behavior that we're designing for. All right, we'll now run through the canvas step by step. We'll start with the push forces and we'll follow up with the pull forces. Matt will lead, I will follow. Matt, over to you.
So Nathan, you've proposed this better disclosure approach, and I went through the proposal for a workshop. It sounds really good, and trust is just such a strategic focus for us right now.
Matt, I couldn't agree more. And interestingly, last week, this new report came out from the Ethics Center. I'm going to send it to you in just a minute, but the economic value of better ethics and greater trust, it's overwhelming. Give me just a minute. I'm sending that to you right now.
This approach to better disclosure, I feel like we can easily start differentiating from our competitors with this.
We can, and there's a simple and practical way to start. Do you want to lock that workshop in for late next week?
Sounds good. Check out my calendar for availabilities.
Checking it out now.
This whole better disclosure approach, it seems like a lot of work, and I don't think we can justify doing it right now.
I get it. I see that we've got competing priorities, but the thing is, there's some really simple light touch stuff that we can do. Hey, how about this? What I can do is I can send you a simple prioritized list of what I propose doing, how long it's going to take, and the proposed impact. That'll enable you to figure out what we can do without impacting our other priorities. I can get you that by tomorrow morning. Is that okay?
Sounds good. If we can get started with some simple steps to demonstrate uplift, I'm all for it.
Awesome.
Better disclosure, legal agreements. Look, I don't like them, but our customers don't really care about this part of the experience. Why would we bother investing in this?
Look, I know it seems like that on the surface, and we could share research for days, but let me just highlight something that I think is really interesting. And it comes from a 2019 study that focused on credit card contracts in the US, so the financial services industry. And the big thing that came out of it was that the consumers participating in that study thought that easier to understand terms and conditions was quite literally the number one thing that financial services organizations could do to restore trust. Like, that's huge. Imagine if we were able to do that, the impact it could have. What do you reckon? We give it a crack.
Look, that sounds really interesting. Send me through that report. I'd love to check it out and go into the details. If we can help build trust with our customers and become more trustworthy as an organization, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll send that to you right now. So what you can see just there is an example of the types of conversations that we might have. Matt proposed a push force, a pull force, an anxiety force, and an allegiance force. And I was attempting to encourage those progress making forces and really move us towards action. And in the context of those progress hindering forces, I was really trying to counter them in a way that was non-confrontational and again focused on action. The more empirical we can be, the more we can orient our teams towards action, the more likely we are to make meaningful progress away from the old towards the new. Okay, so you've identified your A team. You've started trying to figure out the types of progress making forces that you can amplify, as well as the types of progress hindering forces you can counter. This is a really great way to kick that off. It's a simple proposal template for a better disclosure workshop. You can send this out to everyone that you've defined in your A team. Gives you super explicit instructions. It provides them with resources that they can reference to deepen their understanding and get excited. But most importantly, we've designed this to ensure that the process of taking next steps and meaningful action is as easy as possible.